We have a decision to make, and we make a decision that's a sound business decision, but it's not a kingdom decision. And he says there's a fire that will come. The fire will burn up the wood and the hay and the stubble, because that's a reflection of flesh. It's a reflection of trying to build the kingdom in our own good ideas, because you can't carry wood and hay and stubble to the New Jerusalem. Luke 3:16. John answered their questions by saying, I baptize you with water, but someone is coming, Jesus, soon who is greater than I am, so much greater, with such a better covenant, that I'm not even worthy to be his slave and untie the straps of his sandals. He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and with fire. And Jesus gives us the gift of the Holy Spirit. They said, we don't want to hear from you. We want you to tell Moses and he'll tell us. Jesus said, it's better for you if I go, because I'll send my Spirit who can be with each one of you, and you all can hear from me without me being here. It's the inside out of what they said at Mount Sinai. He said, my presence, I will not leave you or forsake you. The one who, my God, why have you forsaken me? So that he could then say to us, you'll never be forsaken. He was forsaken that I might not ever be forsaken. Good? And he gives me the gift of his Holy Spirit that's just like him, to abide in me, who's willing to take, we did all the surrender stuff and, all the testimony and everything, who's willing to grow and increase in me if I'm willing to decrease. John the Baptist said, I must decrease because he's going to increase, right? Danny's got to decrease so that Jesus can increase, right? And fire. So the Holy Spirit and fire. And there's a lot of things that fire can mean. And you can read commentaries, you can listen to preachers, all that kind of stuff. But I'll just suggest one. Well, it's the presence of God. You see that pattern of fire representing the presence of God. And fire is a purifier. Right? Yes, thank you. In 1 Corinthians chapter 3, you can go there if you want to. You can wait and go there later. There's a whole discussion where Paul is saying that I tried to build you on the foundation of Jesus. And if you build on any other foundation, it's not going to stand. But then he says, but you choose how to build on the foundation of Jesus. You can choose gold. You can choose silver. You can use precious stones. You can use wood. You can use hay. You can use stubble. Gold and silver and precious stones are eternal. They represent heavenly things. When you see gold in the tabernacle, it represents Jesus. For example, the Ark of the Covenant is wood, humanity overlaid with gold, deity. Jesus is both man and God. It's a picture of Jesus, the Ark of the Covenant, with the mercy seat on top. Precious stones in the breastplate of the high priest. The foundation of the New Jerusalem, precious stones with names engraved. What is it, the apostles in Revelation? Isn't it the apostles that are engraved in the foundation of the New Jerusalem? Precious stones. Silver 30 pieces of silver bought us. Silver's redemption. So Paul said, you've been built, and we were talking last week about wisdom has built her house. Paul says you've been built on the foundation, the cornerstone of Jesus. But then you choose how to build that temple on that foundation. And some of us choose poorly. And he says there's a fire that will come, and he's not talking about we won't be saved or that we're going to hell, but the fire will burn up the wood and the hay and the stubble, because that's a reflection of flesh. It's a reflection of humanity. It's a reflection of trying to build the kingdom in our own wisdom, in our own good ideas. And we do this all the time. We have a decision to make, and we make a decision that's a sound business decision. But it's not a kingdom decision. We make a decision that's based on sound educational practice, but it's not wisdom that came from the Holy Spirit, who is the teacher. You see what I mean? Now, sometimes the Lord can tell you to do that we call earthly wisdom. And when he tells you to do that, it's anointed, and it's what you're supposed to do in that situation. But he may not tell you to do that. He may tell you to do something different. Because sometimes the wisdom of God is foolishness to men. Right? So he's given us his Spirit, and he's given us his presence that is willing to burn up all the junk we use to build with, so that we can have a habitation for him of gold and silver and precious stones even before we pass over. Because the fire's coming, whether it's now or whether it's then. Because you can't carry wood and hay and stubble to the New Jerusalem. You're only going to be able to carry gold and silver and precious stones. Does that make sense? So our God is a consuming, a devouring fire. And he wants to abide with us so that there's nothing that looks like the world, but when people look at us, they'll see him.